Hi, everybody. I know it's been like 3 or 4 weeks. That's my fault. We've been at conferences and doing all the things. But welcome to Blockchain Brunch, where the alpha is fresh, the coffee is strong, and the tea is hot. I'm Emily, the crypto recruiter, and every week we dive into what's happening in the Web3 job market, the trends, the talent, and the truth behind who's actually hiring. One of the things I want to do today is actually resume audits. So if you are, a little bit curious about how your resume stacks up or if it needs some love, go ahead and send me a message on Telegram at the Crypto Recruiters. I'm going to leave a comment now on the page. So if you guys are interested in having your resume audited, let's go. Let's do it. I want to set you up for success. So whether that's me helping you with your resume, giving you advice on the job hunt, anything really, I want to bring value to you. That's kind of like the ethos, not kind of, but that is the ethos of Web3, right? Bring value first. Just so you guys know, we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok, trying to grow the TikTok brand. So, yeah, social media, man. Wow. So anyway, having way too much fun. Trevor's going to be here with us in a minute. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and leave a comment. We want to talk about you guys and your job hunt and what's going on there and where I can bring value and where I can help. I'm actually going to pull up the LinkedIn post because sometimes this platform does not show me all the comments. But thank you guys for coming. And we're going to get back to doing this weekly, so don't worry. We will be there every week. And then we also have, hold on one second, this might make a noise. There we go. Okay. So where was I going with that? Guys, I have no idea. All right. So the comments aren't working. Let me see if I can leave this. If you're interested in having a resume sent over at the Crypto Recruiter, shoot me your resume. Let's go over it. But really quick, let's make sure that your resume does not have any contact information because I am going to screen share it with your permission. So we'll kind of go from there. But right now, what's going on in crypto, absolutely insane. The market is crazy. People are hiring, people are firing and laying off. But our clients are very strong. So I wanted to talk about what we've got going on our plate. Let me pull this over here. Okay, so we have a chief operating officer for a data center company that's building out data centers across the nation for Bitcoin mining and AI. So looking for a chief operating officer that has experience building out like the physical infrastructure, the physical construction of a data center. So that's a new one for me. Customer support specialist. I also have a multitude of account executives open right now. I have an account executive with a data company. I have an account executive with a security company, and I also have a business development rep with a security company. All of my roles right now are based in the US, except for one. I've got a CEO that's based out of Dubai. That's for a Bitcoin reserve and MicroStrategy. So if you've got experience with MicroStrategy and you are in Dubai, give your girl a shout. On top of that, we've got a director of operations for a trading company, a head of growth and business development. I've got a data analyst. This sits kind of towards compliance, AML, KYC. I've got a head of growth. This is for capital markets and an ETF. I'm looking for someone that comes from a layer one. That is a mandatory thing, not my requirement. Don't kill the messenger. And then we've got a CMO with a layer one, smart contract developer and a blockchain developer with a, what is this company? This is not my account. Hold on. Peer-to-peer infrastructure. Member-owned, governed, decentralized network platform for the P2P exchange. So we've got a smart contract developer and a blockchain developer open there. I've got a React Native. This initially was a mobile opportunity, but now it's just straight React. A product manager, a senior front-end developer. We talked about the CTO. I also have a VP of product and growth role. That one is for a company that powers crypto exchanges, so really exciting. I have a full stack engineer. That one's on site based in New York. We talked about the account executives. I have a senior Solidity developer. I'll actually tell you that's for DTCC. I have no problem telling you that one. But we're really excited to be working with them. So take a peek. Senior API engineer for an open finance platform, and then a head of GTM, my friends, a head of GTM. For everybody that's new in the audience, don't forget, send me a copy of your resume on Telegram so we can do a quick resume audit for you. We've got a comment from Shirag. Shirag, welcome. Thanks for joining. I have 3 years of experience in Web3, including work with Snapshot and other projects. I've been working on contract roles, but I'm struggling to secure full-time positions. Oh, I completely understand. I mean, remote roles are incredibly difficult. What I've noticed, and here's the thing, I'm based in the US. Most of my clients are based in the US, and they come to me for US talent. So that being said, they're looking for people in the same time zone is a trend that I'm seeing. So companies wanting people, 2 to 3 hours away, so that way meetings aren't being missed, goals are still being accomplished, teamwork is still there, right? I think the best part about crypto is it is decentralized, but the problem is that, 2020, 2021, everybody was hiring all across the world, and then people would miss 3 o'clock meetings, 3 a.m. meetings, their time, right? Which is understandable. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, but it would kind of delay business goals. So where I'm very passionate about, a global workforce, because then someone's always online pushing towards company goals. It doesn't work for every company. So kind of just a thought there. So I would look for full-time positions in your area within a 3-hour time zone position. And also, Shirag, there's some people that love to contract and all they want to do is contract. So I would really encourage you to educate on your profile, educate people that you're looking for full-time work, right? Eager to join a company to contribute to long-term goals. That could fix your problem. Also, I think, on the back end of LinkedIn, you can mark yourself as open to work. Take yourself off for contract work. Only put full-time. But I think that's the challenge is people may assume you're only looking for contract work. Okay, Lynn, are these remote work? Yes, all of these roles are remote. The only role I have that's on site is a full stack engineer. And that's on site in New York. We're looking for someone with TypeScript, React, Next.js, Node.js, Python, Mongo, and AWS. And then also Node. I think I mentioned Node. Okay, perfect. Python as well. So like literally everybody or everything. All right, Camille, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. How's the market look in Europe, in your opinion? So I am the queen of US. I'm not the queen of Europe. The best person to reach out to is a couple European recruitment firms. So I would actually reach out to Owen Healy. Shout out to Owen. He's fantastic. So he knows much more about the European job market. The problem is me being located in the US, people just kind of automatically assume that I only recruit in the US, which like makes sense. But yeah, so I'm not 100% educated on European market. Though I will tell you, I have an influx of candidates. Like a lot of people from Europe come in to me asking for jobs. And the problem is I just don't function in that, in Europe. And the reason why, I'll be very honest with you guys. The reason why is European recruitment firms charge 10% of the candidate's base salary, right? I've got a big team. I can't compete with 10%. Our fee is more than double. So, European companies, they just tend not to work with me because we're more on the expensive side, which I think there's a couple. Hey, Trev. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I love the mustache. It looks so good.
Yeah.
What were we just talking about? Oh my God.
European versus the US when it comes to.
Thank you so much. So this is why I need you in my life. So we're getting a lot of candidates coming to us from Europe that are looking for new jobs, but I'm not seeing a huge pickup. But again, it's not my market. So better to reach out to a couple other European recruiters. And guys, listen, it's not that I don't want to tell you. I don't want to give you the wrong information. I want you to be successful. Really quickly. So Renee, it doesn't show your name on LinkedIn, but hi, I see Renee, or it doesn't show it on the platform. We're using StreamYard. Derek has a question. Any advice for non-tech sales roles, Web3 crypto? Absolutely. So a crypto company is just like any other company. They need HR, they need sales, they need tech, they need legal, right? So there's a ton of opportunities out there that are not just tech roles. So if you're looking for a sales position, you need to show the company what you're made of. And what I mean by that is finding a job is a full-time job. You know what I mean? You could spend 8+ hours on this a day, networking, applying, following up. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So as a salesperson, your job is to sell yourself, right? That's your job as a salesperson. So you need to follow a sales process to get yourself a sales job at a crypto company. So, you know, a lot of my clients want people to be very familiar with the crypto ecosystem. So you need to dive in, be knowledgeable, and then start an outreach campaign that's very thoughtful and customized, right? Crypto sales is much different than any other industry. It's relationship based, it's partnership based, but it really is about who you know. So I always encourage people, send as many connection requests as you can, strategic, right, to hiring managers, leadership, start having those conversations. But again, if you're going strictly for sales, follow a sales process to get that job, right? That's what I would suggest. I hope that is helpful. Let me know if that was helpful, Derek. Saran, hello. It's good to see you. Luz, I'm so glad you could come. Sorry for the confusion about sending you the link yesterday. And then Renee is here looking for review feedback on my current resume, LinkedIn profile, looking to pivot in the crypto blockchain space. Would love to do it. Do you want to send me your resume on Telegram at the Crypto Recruiter? And that goes for anybody. Add me on Telegram at the Crypto Recruiter. Sometimes I post stories there so you can see what's going on in my life. But yeah, send me a copy of your resume on Telegram at the Crypto Recruiter. We'll go over it. Make sure you don't have any contact informations on there. So that way.
Speaking of content, you've been having some really great content lately. Been killing it. Love it. Love it.
I'm just having fun with it. Hey, Bui. I'm just having a lot of fun with it. You know what I mean? I think that here's the problem though. So I probably have, I don't know, 1,000 messages to get back to, roughly. And it's not that I don't want to get back to them. It's just, and it's not that it's overwhelming. It's just, it takes a lot of time. And right now I have so many searches going on that my main focus has to be on my clients and filling those jobs. So I hope you guys have enjoyed working with Danielle. Danielle has been helping me, respond to you guys and bringing your resumes to my attention. It's becoming a much more organized process, which I'm really happy about. But content-wise, I feel really bad anytime I post and I still have messages to respond to because I'm not prioritizing content over you guys. It's just in my free time, this is what I do, like I do a little crochet, I do a little content. So please know that I'm not like spending my days in my office making content. Like I usually do this on the weekends or after work or early in the morning. Yeah, so I'm sorry that the appearance is I'm ignoring you guys and just making dumb videos. I'm really not. But the crypto news is
videos are super helpful though, right? Because usually what happens is that one person in our community, if they have a question, usually someone else does. And I think that sessions like this and by creating insightful, thoughtful, funny content, I mean it helps get the message out to as many people as possible while still being effective, right? Because as I mentioned before, right, we wouldn't be able to continue to do this if we weren't having great clients and making these awesome relationships and bringing in incredible jobs, right? Like this is the cherry on the top of the friggin' cupcake or the icing on the cake, right? Like this is additional stuff that we love to do just so we can give back to you guys and connect with our community because that's really important to us as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, Trevor. I mean, listen, job hunting is a very difficult time, very difficult process. People feel I'm trying to reflect on how I felt when I was job hunting. And I know this is going to be a bad word, but I know I felt like a loser. You know, I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like, you know, I didn't know enough. I felt like, you know, why wouldn't someone, you know, hire me sooner than it was been? I think I was unemployed for like 3 months after one of my companies shut down. And it was just incredibly disheartening. Okay, really quickly. So we've got a couple other questions. Renee is sending me his Telegram or his resume. So good on Telegram. Lynn, I don't have Telegram. Can I send my resume through LinkedIn? Yes, but if you're going to be in crypto, we got to get you on Telegram. Telegram is where everybody lives. And like my dirty little secret, Telegram is like the bane of my existence. There's just so much going on with the group chats, with the separate chat. There's just so much going on Telegram. But I try to be as responsive as possible. So the Telegram.
You know, speaking about Telegram, there was someone on my feed, a couple of people actually that were talking about this. One person, they recently said they got like their Telegram got hacked. And then another person is strangely enough, like the week before, they were talking about putting two-factor authentication on your Telegram to make sure that like you just don't get all these spammers and bots and stuff like that, or people being able to take over your account. So like adding that simple additional kind of security step can really save you guys a lot of time. But yeah, for sure, Telegram's like where it is in terms of being able to like network with people, meet with people, and communicate that way too.
Yeah. So guys, you want your resume reviewed, send me a copy on Telegram at the Crypto Recruiter. Lynn, if you want to send it on LinkedIn, you can. It's going to take me a second to get it. Just because of the live situation. So send it to me. Guys, you know I don't have, we just talked about the 1,000 messages that I have to get back to, but this is a great opportunity to get those questions to me, right? I'm here, I'm live, you got my full attention, so let's get it done. Now, I don't want to pronounce your name incorrectly, Bu. How to become a headhunter in blockchain Web3. So that's a great question, and I get this question a lot. It's hard to answer. So this is kind of like a personal thing. So I get a lot of people that come to me, regular recruiters, people that have no recruiting experience saying, Emily, I want to start my own crypto recruiting firm. And my answer is always don't. One, because I will crush you. I'm just kidding. Savage. No, I think that there's a lot of crypto recruiting firms out there. You know, I'm lucky to say we were one of the original top 5. Which is great. We're the first woman owned. But how I got started in this space was the first 6 months that we were in business, I didn't take on one client. It was just me starting the company. I didn't take on one client for 6 months. I just met people and brought value. And this was kind of before the ethos of like bring the value first. But that's what I did. I met people and I brought value. Now, what's interesting about me is I am, you know, there's something, sorry, side note, but there's a saying that we say in my household, which is, Oprah said this, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. So I want to make a joke. In the back of my head, I'm like, Oprah said, so I don't want to put this on the internet, but because I'm a crazy person, I work like incredibly high volume. And what I mean by that is I was interviewing 12 to 24 people a day. I was working 7 days a week. I just met as many people as I could. There's a lot of information from Web 2 that translates to Web 3, right? Like I said, Web 3 needs HR, they need marketing, they need legal. You don't have to be like a crypto expert to start helping people with their job search. Finding a job in Web 2 is very similar to finding a job in Web 3. I think Web 3 is a little bit more difficult, but we'll get there. So I met people for 6 months. And then I started to build those relationships, brought value, and then those people became clients. That's really how I got started, was I built these deep relationships for 6 months, and when they were hiring, they thought of me. I didn't do any cold calling, no hard selling, just built a reputation, and people came to me. So if you do want to be a Web3 recruiter, and you don't have any recruiting experience, I would tell you don't do it, because that looks... like if you don't know how to recruit, don't start a recruiting firm. It just makes sense to me.
You know, one of the other things too, kind of, to add on to what you mentioned, is that it's the learning process. So before I even entertained getting into the industry, I was not a degen, but I was just like consuming information, just like trying to educate myself, being
Yep.
familiar with the lingo, knowing the trends, knowing the power players, the up and coming companies, the differences between these different blockchains. What does this mean? Like I had to ask myself, why do I even want to be in the industry before just saying I want to get into it because everyone else wants to get into it. Like if it wasn't right, it's not going to be right. So you need to have that heart to heart with yourself. And I think it was probably honestly like it was longer than you. It's like a year of just like watching YouTube videos by myself in a room and talking to no one else because everyone that was talking about crypto back then was crazy. So like I'm in my room by myself and I'm just like, there's got to be a better way. So I would just like literally, I took all that time to make sure that I was comfortable to be able to talk the talk, walk the walk. Before I even started applying to jobs. And then once, I started to kind of get into that, I made it truly intentional and put like all of my effort into it. It's a full-time job to find a full-time job in this industry. And unfortunately, right, recruiters and people like that, they're here to help you, but they're not going to be the end all and be all. It really has to be you that's going to be putting in as much effort. If not, I mean, I always say as much effort is the minimum. You have to be putting sometimes twice as much effort, 3 times as much effort as most people to get into this industry. It's super competitive. I mean, I kind of like think about this. It's like trying to join the New York Yankees in the 90s if you've never played baseball before, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of get some experience, start slow, start out, but really, really kind of continue to know what you're talking about, network with as many people as possible. And that's just going to help your transition to becoming a successful recruiter because there are relationships that didn't like kind of pan out or become fruitful for me for years. Like I built these relationships for years with people. Sometimes some of the best placements I've had in my career are people that I've known for like multiple years. So they say the best time to plant a tree was like 20 years ago. The second best time is like today. So plant your tree right now and just get in there and start learning as much as you possibly can and talk to people. That's one of the really good things I would say about this industry as well that attracted me to it was that, people at least still are very open to having conversations and they're very genuine to having conversations and they're very open to like sharing their experiences and their trials and tribulations and what they've overcome and some of the mistakes they've made so that you don't have to repeat those things. So that's really what I love about the industry. And I'm glad that, it's still like that for sure.
Trevor, I don't know if we ever talked about this. Do you know why I hired you as like my first person on the team? Do you know why?
Because of my passion.
Passion was a part of it. So Trevor has a background in staffing and support and just helping people, right? That was his background. At the Crypto Recruiters, I think that I can teach anybody anything, but I can't teach you to be a good person. I can't.
Facts.
And Trevor, what really stood out to me about you was your kindness, your passion, your knowledge for the space. But like, honestly, because it is such a small world, relationships are so important. And that's why I'm so grateful for you because that is your biggest strength, bringing value, helping people and building those relationships. So what I will tell you is, Trevor didn't have experience in crypto recruiting. I took a chance on him and it worked out beautifully. I mean, it's been almost 4 years now that we've been working together.
Almost 4 years. Wow.
Almost
That's
4 years.
crazy. 4 years in this industry is like dog years. That's another thing that people need to know. So if you're going to get into this industry, like a day in crypto is like a month in any other industry. So be prepared for the intensity of it. But that's one of the beautiful parts about it because there's nothing like it. I've worked in biotech, I worked in healthcare, I worked in pharma, I've worked in engineering, I've worked in pure kind of just fintech tech companies. Blockchain, crypto, Web3, it is by far the most interesting industry that I've ever worked in. And it's just incredibly awesome. So if you're curious about it, if you're skeptical about it, ask the questions. But, if it does resonate with you and your heart's all into it, go all in. I think that, we're at a point right now where a lot of the trials and tribulations that we had to overcome as an industry are starting to kind of figure themselves out. We're getting institutional adoption. We're getting interest from government. We're getting banks, big traditional banks that want to get into crypto. I'm not an OG by any means, but I've been here for a little while. And I remember trying to, purchase crypto on some of the popular exchanges. I won't name names, but I wasn't even allowed to send money from my own bank account to a crypto exchange. Now, like banks are going to want to custody crypto. So it's this crazy 180 that's happening right now. And I think that it's just like the best time possible, despite all the socioeconomical, geopolitical stuff and things that happen in the market. There's no better time to be in this industry for sure.
I think you are absolutely correct. I'm trying to get my Telegram URL.
Oh yeah, that's
username copy to crypt. Oh my god! Hold on, guys.
Someone said, "What's Telegram?" Telegram is awesome.
Shirag, I cannot. What is Telegram? All right. So really quickly, Bu, does a good headhunter have wide relationships in the market? Absolutely. That's what we rely on, right? Network is your net worth. We have the largest network in North America. So I'm really proud of that. Now, guys, just a reminder, at the Crypto Recruiter, I am desperately trying to get you the actual link. Trev. Okay, so we have a land on top. We have a oh, here it is. Beautiful. Got the link.
While you were thinking about getting that link to IMS, one of the things about like relationships, which is interesting, that a lot of people don't know about, and you know, even sometimes we have to sell our clients on this, is that why you want to use an agency, especially ones like us that are well known and reputable and have been around and been through different market cycles, and we can understand. We're able to be not just like reactive but proactive, right? See things that sometimes our clients can't see themselves. We have an understanding of all these different phases, from extremely early growth stage to the ones that are more established and getting, you know, Series B funding. We've seen it all. And you know, job boards are a great resource. They're amazing, right? Like I do a lot of my business development sourcing from job boards. I'm able to share this weekly post that I do with the community that I've been doing for like three and a half months consistently every single week. I get a lot of that information from jobs that are posted there. But the one thing that a lot of people and companies don't understand is that like hard to find talent, most of those people, one, they're not active online. Like they're not posting their resume. They're not going to job boards. They're really extremely busy in what they do in their 9 to 5. So they need that. They're building relationships with people like us. And these relationships didn't start just yesterday. They started years ago. So when companies have this incredibly hard to find talent, you're not going to find them most likely in the traditional, you know, avenues and the resources. You need to have someone like us because we have those relationships. We know about the people that are like keeping it on the down low, that they're looking, right? Like everyone's not going to make it public that they're looking for a job change. And that's why it's awesome to be able to utilize us. And also too, right, you know, working with us, I've heard some horror stories of working with agencies, and I actually, you know, heard about this when we were in Consensus about like some agencies that do like this dirtbag thing. Like you'll reach out to them and let them know that you're looking, and then like if for whatever reason if you don't work with them, then they're gonna go reach out to your employer and let them know that you're looking for a job, which is like a dirtbag thing to do, right? So like I've had so many people, yeah, crazy, right? So I've had so many people come to me in confidence and say, "Hey, Trevor, I'm looking for a job," things like that. You have to have that kind of respect, as if it's kind of like, you know, what's that called, like a doctor or a lawyer, like when you have that confidentiality. What's that? There's like a certain phrase for that, like when you know, like you will never tell anything, like your therapist or your lawyer, your doctor, for whatever reason.
Confidentiality.
Yes, kind of like that, but it's like that with recruiters and, you know, business development and things like that. Like there's a lot of information that we have, but we're not going to share because we're just like, once again, I think M said, good people wouldn't do that. Like, and I wouldn't want anyone to ever do that to me if I was in that situation, right? So you have to be careful. I'm not trying to like freak people out, but like you got to be careful about who you work with and who you trust in this space. There's a lot of people out there that are faking the funk. There are a lot of people out there that look a lot better than they are, but they really ain't all that. So like, be careful about who you trust. And, you know, that's why we do these kind of things, to show that, you know, the human element to it. And that's the reason why you started this company in the first place. It's the human element. It doesn't have to be all like super tech driven or like AI focused. I mean, yeah, that's going to be here. It's going to help us. If you're smart enough, it can help you become more human, I think, instead of taking away from that, which a lot of people seem to have that kind of misconception.
Beautiful. I think that's a great point, Trev. So we got a couple of resumes here. Renee, I can screen share your resume, but my concern is your contact information is on there. So if you could just give me the good to go, because your phone number and your email. So let me know if I can screen share there. Shirag, congratulations for figuring out Telegram. Super proud of you. Shirag, your information is also on your resume. Is it okay to screen share? Let me know either via Telegram or the chat here, guys, because I don't want to put your information out there without your permission. And that's another thing you should know about recruiters. There is something called a right to represent. A right to represent means that recruiter is going to represent your application to either various companies or one job. So we had one of our candidates sign a right to rep with a different recruiting firm. And we placed that candidate at a company, right? One of our clients. That recruiting firm reached out to our client and said, hey, we have a right to represent. You can't work with the crypto recruiters, right? That didn't go very well for them. We managed that situation. But what I'm saying is don't sign any right to represent. You don't need to sign a right to represent to work with a recruiter, right? All you need to do is be transparent with the recruiter if you're working with others, right? I always tell people, don't tell recruiters where you're interviewing because they will go around you and try to sell that service to that company, right? But be honest. If a recruiter says, hey, I'd like to submit you to Binance, you could say, hey, I'm working with another recruiter on Binance, right? That is the kind of relationship that you want to have with your recruiter, but don't sign a right to represent. Okay, so who said I'm fine if you share? Was that Renee? Hold on. Did I just close out of this?
Also, don't fall for them. There's a lot of scams that are going on as well too with jobs and stuff. So don't ever, send any kind of personal information to move along in the interview process. Sometimes, I remember before when we were recruiting, they needed a unique identifier for someone. So sometimes they would ask for the last 4 digits of your social security number. But other than that, right, don't give out your personal home address. Don't pay money or crypto to get supplies to start the job. Don't randomly fly out somewhere to another country to do an on-site. I've heard of horror stories. People are, I don't even want to bring it up because it's just some horrible stuff. But for real, people be careful. There's some crazy stuff going on, so protect yourself and protect your personal information. And honestly, if it's sometimes if it sounds too good to be true, usually it is. And if you ever see anything out there that we're working on, right, reach out to us. I think that you can, you can talk to us, you can reach us, you can contact us, and be very leery of staffing agencies and recruiters that don't have any content. They don't have any pictures. They're not ever talking about anything that has to do with jobs. They're just slinging these random opportunities out there, and they're really, really aggressive. They're asking you to I need feedback now. I need you to send this now. If they're pushy, if there's no pictures and stuff like that, if there's no types of anything on their feed, if they're not present on different social media platforms, I don't know.
I mean, you do know that's all red flags. So we're going to go with Renee's resume to start, and then we will work down. So guys, couple things. One, we do private resume consultations. If you do not want to share your resume live with us, there is a fee associated, but you're going to get some really good information in these audits we're about to do. So pay attention and implement the advice that we're giving you to your own resume. So let me share this screen. Thanks, Renee, for the permission. Share. Is it sharing? No. Okay. I figured it out. Congratulations, Emily. All right. So strategic operator with 20 years of experience. I want you to get rid of this word strategic. I think strategic sends the wrong signal in crypto. So what I mean is in Web 2, it means something different, right? It means thoughtful, planning, right? Doing things the right way the first time. In crypto, it means pointing fingers, telling people what to do and not actually doing the work. So you want to make sure that you've got words like hands-on, coach mentality, lead by example. I think, when you send someone a resume, you've got 3 to 30 seconds to make an impression. And you want them to see what you want them to see. So I'm seeing up here, completed a blockchain solution architects solution certification program. Why was that so difficult? I would bring this to the second sentence, maybe even, second sentence right here, because that's one of the first things they're going to see. Now, my goal for you, Renee, is I want someone to pick up those blockchain keywords and be like, yes, this guy understands blockchain and crypto. I'm going to give him a call. So definitely want that to be up there. Now, something that's cool in your resume is you can actually bold things. So again, you want them to see what you want them to see. Bold keywords and metrics in your resume. Core competencies, this looks fine, but I would make sure there's no fluff, right? Executive partnership and strategy delivery, fluff, right? Special projects and operational efficiency, a little bit of fluff. Financial planning and cost optimization, not so much fluff, but talk about some of the tools that you're using. Let's scroll down. And now one of the things, Renee, is you've got a 2-page resume, looks really good. Your resume can be 2 pages, guys. So don't be afraid to have a 2-page resume, but when you have a 3-page resume, companies are concerned that you're unable to condense or summarize. They will read the first page of your resume, they will skim the second page of your resume, and they will not pay attention to the third. So let's keep scrolling here. I don't think you need the word remote. I prefer to standardize this a little bit. So I would put your dates on the right because that's where people are looking for the dates. I think you need a sentence about what the company does right here. So what I do is in one font size smaller, have a bullet without a bullet point, describe the company in 1 to 2 sentences, right? This had keywords, but it also educates the reader about the type of company that you come from. So on LinkedIn, if I'm looking at your profile, I can click on the company logos, right? And it takes me to the company page, which explains what you're looking for. The problem, sorry, one second. Okay. The problem with that is, where was I going? I was just checking the TikTok live and like my ADHD is just like all over the place. Oh, sentence about the company. So on LinkedIn, I have to click on the company logo, takes me to the company page. Then I read about the company. If I'm looking at a resume and I maybe don't know what Hurdle is, I have to then Google Hurdle, right? I've got to go on LinkedIn. I've got to figure out who they are. So you're making it a step easier for the recruiter to identify that you're a fit. And one of my philosophies that's always worked well for me is if you want something, make it as easy as possible for that person to give it to you. Hold on one second. Hey, Sahara, I'm still here. My dog thinks I'm gone. I had to let her know I'm still here. So that's what I would do there. Add a sentence about what the company does. And then if you're currently in the role, you want it to be present tense. Led to lead, streamlined to streamline, spearheaded to spearhead. Let me see here. You want to bold this, reducing product delivery time by 20%, optimize workflows. Try to give a little more information on that, right? How did you optimize those workflows? What tools did you use? Going here. Now, one of my life hacks, guys, is if you want to get a little more space on your resume, this space in between professional experience and principal, you can make that a font size 5. So that way it makes this space a lot more small and gives you extra room. Task force, task tick. Let's add a sentence about what the company does. Everything is in past tense. You were there for about a year. Looks good. Customer engagement, playbook, product implementation, introduce remote delivery reporting. Talk about the delivery reporting tools, distributed systems. You want to make sure that you're giving them enough information that they can say, yes, Renee is a fit for this job based off what he's accomplished previously. Lead data analytics, delivered 500,000 in annual cost savings. Beautiful, bold that. Right? Have that stand out. Education looks great. You do not have your dates of education on your resume. Fabulous. Fantastic. Bravo. You don't want to have your dates of education on your profile or on your resume because it will tell people how old you are. And your age doesn't matter, right? You could be 18, absolutely brilliant, and be a DevRel. You could be 76 and doing a AML compliance analyst role, right? Age doesn't matter, and it shouldn't determine your level nor your compensation. Renee, that's kind of what I got for you. Was that helpful? We're going to go to Shirag. Jim, thanks so much for coming. Appreciate you. And Jim also brought up the Lazarus group is scamming people. So be aware. LinkedIn user.
There was a question. Yes, that question. I was just going to say that.
I'm just trying to see who it is. Hold on one second. I hate this platform. And okay, hold on. So that's Renee again. Renee, you might want to try to make your profile public. That might be what's happening here. So Renee, what are your thoughts on using AI-driven interviewing? Not a fan. Companies are hiring people, and they want to know who you are, your ethos, your methodology, your thought process. So I think, AI is great. Can it help give you ideas? Absolutely. But it is super easy to figure out who's using AI during an interview, right? There's a lot of tools where you can have AI across your screen and read the answers. Let me give you an example. So I had a candidate, we were interviewing them for a crypto exchange based in WonderFi, and they did a take-home assessment. On that take-home assessment, they used AI. And the client immediately recognized that it was AI and disqualified the candidate. So don't use AI in your applications. Don't use AI in your interviews. I know it's tempting, but you got to just be you. There's a company that's going to value you, that's going to help you, that's going to really be passionate about you. And we have to find that company. If you're not a fit for a job, you're not a fit for a job, but jobs are like buses. There's always another one around the corner. So don't let these things get you down. Really focus on the positives, which is if you interview for a job and you're still not a fit, you got to meet another person. You got to build out your network, right? You got interview practice. So I see all of these as a positive.
And the thing about this industry too is that, right, like you might be able to fake your way through a few rounds of an interview. But sooner or later, right? And honestly, I think a lot sooner in this industry, especially when you get on a team, like people start to ask you more in-depth questions. Unless you're going to plan to like have Chat GPT like next to you all day long, you're not going to be able to respond to these kind of questions. You're not going to be able to understand and disseminate the kind of information that's coming to you. So, use this stuff to enhance who you already are and to already like amplify your natural personality, but don't try to just like create something or to be malicious or trying to like cut corners, if you will. I think that a lot of people, unfortunately, today, and I get it, right? Job searching is hard. You might have to, change your resume around for multiple applications. I understand. I've done it. Emily's done it. We've all done it. But the thing about it is that, unfortunately, maybe not so much unfortunately, but fortunately, like you just can't take shortcuts some places. And in this industry, like you'll get called out for it. And if people don't call you out in your face, better believe that they're probably talking to other people in the industry about like some of the things that you do. So just try to be as authentic as humanly possible, and use AI to enhance yourself and to amplify what you're already capable of doing.
Yep, absolutely. Great feedback, Trevor. You're the best. I know I say that all the time, but like you were just the best. So we have Shirag here. Shirag, so I'm not sharing the top of your resume because your full address is on your resume. I want you to
off.
Take that off, right? So I have worked with some recruiters that when there's an address on their resume, they'll actually Google the resume while they're on the phone with the candidate just to be nosy and see where they live. So unless you want someone Googling your address, I would just completely take it off. Nobody needs to know where you live, and it's a security concern. Accomplished software developer, capitalized software and developer. It is a title. Full stack solutions. I would add full stack blockchain solutions. Driven to tackle complex challenges and excel in a dynamic Web3 environment. This is fluffy. I would just delete that. Sorry. Okay, so you've got your education at the top. Here's the thing. You're in India. I'm in the US. I'm not 100% sure of, how India likes to do it or how Indian hiring managers like it. But in the US, we put education at the very bottom, and we remove dates and we don't put the location. Relevant coursework. This could be relevant skills instead of coursework.
Mm.
Problem solving is fluff. I would get rid of that. I would put in your technology stack. This is present, capitalize the P, and then working. And you could also do spearheaded the implementation of, right? You've got an extra space in here. Polymesh. Yeah, we just got to get more information, right? You want someone to be able to look at your resume for 30 seconds and be like, yes, Sharag's the guy for the job. Absolutely. He's been doing X, Y, and Z. I would also take locations off your profile. It just doesn't really matter where you're based or where the jobs have been based. Projects, great. Here's the thing. See this spacing you have here between AZ and Web3? Do the same thing here. Edit the spacing so it's a little more what's the word?
Consistent.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, add a sentence about what the company does, about the internship, BRS, unfamiliar. So give me that information. Projects, we just need more information here, right? And we need to work on our spacing. I think the biggest thing is your resume can be 2 pages. I love your technical skills. I would bring this to the top. So really just build out your experience. I think the more information, the better. Don't go past 2 pages, but you really want to outline what did you accomplish and what was your day-to-day. Just really quickly, there's 50 of us in this room. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Yes, all our friends. I love it. I love it. I
know
love it.
it's been weeks since we've been here, so it's great to see all of you. Thank you.
Another quick tip too,
yeah.
for general people out there with the resumes is if you're trying to kind of get guidance in terms of what you need to talk about with your work experience, because a lot of us, right, there's so much that you do in your day to day, and it's hard to kind of disseminate or to figure out like what do I even need to put on this resume that's going to be important for this particular job. Always go back to the job description. The job description is like one of the biggest like cheat codes for you in terms of like it's like a blueprint, right? So the job description is saying, hey, you know what? I need someone. Think of it like I need to build a house, right? And I need this house to be made out of wood. And then you need to say, okay, well, I have that kind of wood, or something even corny like that. But like think of it as a way to help you determine out of all the things that you've done, which of the ones should you amplify most? Which of the ones should you bring to the attention? Which are the ones where you should put, qualify and quantify that kind of information? If it says like, if you see your job description and they're mentioning words like leadership, teaching, mentor, took lead. If you see that over and over again, then you want to talk about where in your career have you done those things? Where were you a leader? Where did you take lead? What was the size of the team that you were on? What were the outcomes of when you started? If you're in sales, what was your ROI? Like how many deals did you close? What were the metrics? All those kind of things are really important. So when in doubt, always look at the job description. And if you see multiple words or phrases or similar kind of things being repeated multiple times, try to mirror that in your resume so that when the recruiter is looking at that they don't have to do the guesswork. And also, one of the other important things that we didn't mention is, like acronyms of words, right? So like, if you're in business development could be biz dev, it could be BD, it could be business development, all those kind of things. Try to like put different variations of the same word throughout your resume and different parts of your career, so that if there is someone that's like super new or junior on the team, if they may be looking at their resume and say like they're looking at the job description, they're saying, okay, I need someone that's done BD, and they're looking at our business development, and then they see your resume and it says, oh, I was BD lead. They're like, I don't know what the heck BD lead is. They're not qualified for the job, right? So then you get passed off, or either like it doesn't get picked up on the algorithm in like the applicant tracking system. So like really make sure that you're trying to do yourself the best, putting yourself for success by making sure that you're not like just omitting things that are not necessarily going to like be important for you.
Thank you, Trevor. Great feedback. So, oh gosh, I don't want to pronounce your name incorrectly, and I'm going to do it. Is it Luce? So we've got another resume here, a very interesting resume. Let me bring it up, and thank you for the permission to share. So here's what we got going on, guys. It's a black resume. Love it. But if we were in Web 2, like if we were at a regular SaaS company, I would say don't share this resume because imagine printing this and all the printer ink that it would use, right? And that's a part of like Web 2 is you want to print an interview, have it to the hiring manager. It's much more in person, but Web 3 is different. So I've actually haven't seen a black resume in, I've seen them before, but it's been a long time.
Been a while.
I think they really stand out. I like them a lot. So we never want to use the word I on a resume. Hey Fawaz, I see you. Thank you for the message. I design. So you want to do, let's see, what are you? Founder, community builder, founder, UX. Okay, so I would do Web3 designer, turning communities into movements. That's what I would do. Web3 designer, turning communities into movements. Founder of the island, bullish on Iwood. This is great. So I would build this out. Actually, I would have a sentence that says bullish on. Actually, that's a great idea. Instead of an experience section, you can put a bullish on section, or a skills section, you could put a bullish on. Or instead of an interest section, you could put a bullish on. Oh my God, I love that. By the way, we have bullish on Thursdays, not this Thursday. I know I'm the worst. But next Thursday, we have it with Monad Labs. So come to bullish on because we're bullish on Monad. So here's the one challenge, Luce. Founder. How do I say this? I really don't want to be discouraging because there's so much value that is brought from a founder, right? You guys are doing accounting, you're doing marketing, you're doing HR, you're doing it all, right? So you bring a lot of different viewpoints to problems because you have experience there. But take a step back. We have to think about the impression that a founder resume sends. And the initial impression is to someone that's not, to someone that's not a very tenured recruiter or creative or thoughtful, they may think two things. One, if your company was so successful, why would you be looking for a job? Two, why would they hire you if your company wasn't successful? Right. And again, there's two sides to this, right? Some people are going to think they love when founders fail because of all the lessons you've learned. And some people won't touch it. So I would have two resumes. And let me even take a step further or take a step back. So the crypto recruiters, right? When I first started this company, we were just a team of one. So I advertised and still mostly continue to myself as the crypto recruiter. I felt like I was too young to be a founder. I felt like I wasn't a true CEO. You know what I mean? CEOs have 30 years of experience. I had no leadership experience. So I didn't feel comfortable calling myself the founder or the CEO. I felt like people weren't going to take me as seriously. And I will tell you, coming down a level to be more approachable really helped us build our brand. So not being the president of the crypto recruiters and actually being the girl in the weeds was much more, people liked it, right? Be approachable. And that was
relatable.
Yeah, exactly. So Luce, I might have two resumes. I might have a founder-led resume, and then I might have a IC title resume. So maybe one resume says founder, Island of New Armenia, and then the other resume says community builder. Right. But I noticed under your resume, it's got like a bunch of paragraphs. I want you to build these out into bullet points, and I want you to have 2 pages on your resume. Your skills section is very good. Your languages are good as well. I would switch Russian and Armenian, just switch those two. You want them to see, the stuff up front and center. And I worry that, there's a lot of challenges going on with Russia. So I don't want anyone to assume that you are, in Russia looking for a job in the US. That's just a really challenging situation. So I hope that was helpful. Renee, you are absolutely welcome. Always a pleasure. Renee, I appreciate your message. So Renee is so kind. Guys, we do private resume reviews. There is a fee, and Renee message saying he would love to work with me on the fee. And Renee, honestly, I don't think you need it. I don't think you need to pay me a fee to fix your resume. Take what we just discussed, implement. And if you still want support, let me know. Guys, my goal here is not to, make a bunch of money doing resume audits.
And then there are some people out there that's their jam, but not us, right? Also too, and I love it. I was just checking this out as well. We have some really good clips on our YouTube channel. Like, if you guys are not subscribing to our YouTube channel, you are doing yourself an incredibly huge disservice.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's clips from our conversation that we have. There's clips from our podcast. There's clips from Bullish On. There's clips from this. There's clips from this. Like, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of incredible content on our YouTube channel. And like, I think we have under 200 subscribers, which is insane. With the number of followers that you have, the number of followers that I have, and the number of followers that we have as a community. So check it out, folks. Like, I'm not gonna like toot our own horn, but some really good stuff there. You might want to check it out.
This dog like doesn't believe that I'm still at home, and I'm just like talking over here. Mamas. Okay, she's gonna be fine. She's anxiety, man. Anxiety in these dogs. Anybody else have any pets here working from home? I have 5 pets. I've got 3 dogs and 2 cats. I've got a lot of love to give. You know what's interesting, Trevor? One of the selling points of the crypto recruiters, I got to work on this. I am not a salesperson. I am a recruiter, and I'm a damn good recruiter. But I have to do sales pitches to potential clients. And basically, it couldn't be more true. But one of the differentiators with the crypto recruiters and other recruiting firm is the amount of love we put into our work.
Yeah.
Right? The amount of time that we put into this. We're not just here slinging resumes. We're actively investing in our candidates. We're actively working very closely with our clients. It's not just here's a resume, here's a job,
And we're actively investing in our community, right? We want you all to do well, right? And it's so great. I met some people when we were at Consensus, and it was really awesome because like I just went to say, hey, just check in, how you doing? Like, are you happy? And like they're like, no, I'm in a great place. I'm just like, oh my, that feels really good to hear that, right? It's not always a horror story, and people aren't always looking, and we're not always like trying to poach people. People approach us. So when you're trying to become successful in anything, right? I know it sounds kind of cheesy and hippy dippy, but like it's the golden rule: treat people like you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And it may not pay off like immediately. It may not be short term. There are a lot of people that like do scumbag techniques and dirty tricks, and like they'll whatever they do, it'll work its way out, right? And they may be profitable in the short term, but like long term, doing things the right way and treating others the way that you want to be treated, and like doing this for just the love of it, that's going to be what separates you long term and helps you stand the test of time. And one of the other things too, right? If you're trying to get into this industry and you don't like love it, like you have to somewhat damn near be obsessed with this industry. Yeah. And if you're not, if you're kind of quasi like, well, maybe I might want to get into crypto, don't do it. Don't do it. You have to be all in, because the ups and downs, the roller coasters, the challenges, the some of the negative aspects of it, like it can be overwhelming. Most people aren't able to handle that. But if you are of that caliber, like I said before, and I'll continue to preach this to the cows come home, like it's one of the most rewarding experiences that I've ever been in my life. And I've been in so many different industries, and I nothing can match this. And, I told myself earlier in my recruiting career, because I felt like I missed out a little bit in the early 2000s. Like I was, just out of college in early 2000s. And I had missed out on being able to be like involved with the Jeff Bezos of the world, like the Mark Zuckerberg, when they were building these companies they were building companies in their garage. And like, fast forward 5 years, I was like, oh my God, what if I had like invested in these companies? What if I had been involved in them? And I told myself, if I ever find something that is groundbreaking and as revolutionary as like the first kind of round of like what the internet was, I said, I'm all in. And luckily I had that come to, aha moment in 2017, 2018, when I was watching a friggin' documentary about blockchain, like Bitcoin mining. I had no idea what it was about, but I fell in love with it. And here we are several years later. So you have to have that passion. It's going to help you get through the ups and downs. And quite frankly, whatever happens in like the crypto markets, it doesn't even phase me anymore. Like I remember the first time like I saw Bitcoin go down, like this was funny. We were at our first Bitcoin conference, and I remember it was like 69,000. And every day we were there, it kept going lower and lower and lower. And I'm just like freaking out. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? Now Bitcoin goes down $5,000 in a day, and literally I don't care. It doesn't phase me. And you will get to that point, folks. Y'all will get to that point.
Okay. God, I'm getting blown up right now. So Fawaz heard let's do this next week on Blockchain Brunch. So I will see you then. Kashit, let's do it next week as well. But you guys got my Telegram. Add me there. You can watch my stories. But it was great to see all of you today. I'm so sorry that we were gone for 3 weeks, but we are back. I'm available. I'm trying to get back to your messages. Just a reminder, I'm not prioritizing content over you. I make my content in my free time because that's what I like to do with my free time. So anyway, all right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye, y'all.